Thank you everybody for joining us today. We're going to be starting off with a webinar on the industry update. Melissa Bova will be conducting the webinar and John Longstreet will be assisting her. As I said before, the chat feature has been, you should use the chat feature for all question and answers, and please keep your phone muted during this call. With that said, I'm turning this over to Melissa. If John is on the line, he can definitely let Melissa know when he gets on. Thank you.
Okay, let's get started. This is going to be similar to last week's webinar, where I basically just dump a lot of information about everything we know on you. Please ask questions via the chat box, as Hope already mentioned. And for this special occasion, I went from sweatpants to leggings, so very excited to dress up for all of you via this webinar. So we're going to start federally, and then we're going to work our way down. And like I said, I am going to cover as much as I think you don't know yet, but if there are things that I don't mention, please just ask it in the chat box. So first things first, we did have a webinar about this yesterday. The Families First Act, there's actually 3 packages that 2 have been passed, a 3rd is being voted on today, relating to COVID. And the first had to do with the Small Business Administration loans, which became available to Pennsylvanians last week. And the second was the Families First Act. It does say April 2nd effective date. It is actually April 1st. I don't think a day is going to make that much of a difference, but that will take effect April 1st, and that legislation has to do with providing paid leave to your employees if they have symptoms of COVID, they're diagnosed with COVID, are in quarantine because of COVID. It allows up to 10 days of paid leave, and then further to that, it allows paid family leave for your workers that might have to stay home to take care of their children because schools are closed. Both of these packages are reimbursable via your quarterly tax payment to the federal government. And all that type of information is available from the webinar yesterday. If you have laid off your employees, I know this is the question that we get all the time, this doesn't apply to you. This only applies for those employees that you still have, in an effort to allow you to give them the time off that they need if diagnosed because of COVID. Another important part of this is if your business is forced to shut down because of COVID, they are not eligible under the Families First Act. The Families First Act is purely for diagnosis, quarantine, or taking care of children who aren't in school. From there, let's get to, we call it COVID-3, and I know that is the package that you all have been waiting for, and it seems like it is coming together. The pissing match between the Republicans and the Democrats has ended, and the Senate is expected to vote today on what we call COVID-3. This came together at about 1 a.m. last night, and we still do not have the full details. So I know there are a lot of nitty-gritty details people are interested in, and we will get all of that to you, hopefully by the end of the day today. I will say the Senate is planning to vote on this package today. The House could vote on it as long as the House is in agreement as early as tomorrow. And they could do a unanimous consent to move it quicker. Normally, House rules wouldn't allow it to be voted that quickly. But they can do unanimous consent to move it as early as tomorrow. And the president has said that he will sign that legislation. It is $2 trillion. I never thought I would say the word trillion. It is a $2 trillion package. And some of the things that I think are most important to all of you on the phone, generally speaking, it does extend unemployment compensation to 4 months, and it allows your employees to be reimbursed at 100% of the rate. Currently, they're being reimbursed at 60% under state law. This supplements it, so your employees, when they file for unemployment, will be reimbursed at 100%. In addition, there are quick acting loans that will go out up to $10,000 to help via the Small Business Administration. So I know that process has been burdensome, and I'll get to that in a second. But all of these grants and loans that are coming through are coming via the SBA process. So there are emergency grants up to $10,000 for immediate relief. There's about $17 billion in loans that will cover 6 months of payments for small businesses that already have applied for loans. Also, a key part of this in the original package, the loans that you were receiving via the SBA 2 iterations ago, it would turn into a grant for that portion of the loan that you used for payroll. So anything else that you used the loan for could not be commuted, I guess, to a grant. That has changed. So in addition to payroll, rent, mortgage, and utility costs will be eligible for your loan forgiveness. In addition, as I said, to payroll. So if you take out a loan and you use it for those items, you do not have to pay that loan back. And then there's also a tax credit and other tax credits that will be applied to businesses that retain their employees. We're going to have a lot more information as we work through all of this. I know a lot of you would love to bring your employees back, even if it's for part-time in the interim. We will have all of that information to kind of allow you to work through it. We are still waiting. I did get a call before for our nonprofits that are on the phone. We have not yet gotten clarification if 501c6s are included in this final package. We will see, like I said, at the end of the day, in the daily update, we will have a ton more information to all of you in terms of what this includes. But this is really the package that we have been waiting for to get funds to you. I think we've all been a little bit frustrated because I think at the state level, they're saying we need the feds to do something. At the local level, the locals are saying we need the state and the feds to do something, and therefore we're not going to do anything other than shut down your businesses until the feds do something. So this is the action that we've been waiting for from the federal government. The other item, as I said, all of these funds will roll through the SBA, the Small Business Administration process. I know that if you have been applying for those loans, it has been a headache and it has crashed and you have had to go back in and everybody's applying. It's like unemployment, unfortunately, right now where everybody's applying. So please be patient. The federal government is aware of the issues with that process. They are going to make it a faster process because clearly with this new potential package, even more people will be applying. So please be patient. And I think we do have a webinar this afternoon relating to how to apply for those loans. And I will encourage you in our daily updates, which I know they're long. I think every piece of information is the greatest piece of information in the world, but we do list webinars on there. So please, in addition to searching for witty banter that's sometimes included, take a look at those webinars and register for those that you think would be helpful because they really do have the information that you need.
Melissa? Before we jump on further, John, does look like he got on. I think people have been having difficulties. I've been getting some messages that people are having difficulty getting online via phone. It may just be due to overload. We have 125 people that are on. Okay, some people are saying they're getting on now, but I don't know what to tell you other than to keep trying. John is on. I don't know if we need John to say anything at this point, or should I mute him or unmute him?
Can you hear me, Eric?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Melissa and Eric and all, I'm so sorry about the technical challenges earlier here, but thank you, Melissa, for all the hard work you're doing, Eric and the entire PRLA team. I won't except to say that we are engaged. I know you know this, and we're up and running and doing everything we can to provide relief to every single restaurant, hotel, and travel and tourism entity in the state. This team is amazing in that regard. Make sure you're checking the COVID-19 website periodically throughout the day. There are updates throughout the day. And I want to just close my comments. I may come back later with to answer questions, but I want to paraphrase our chairman, State Chairman Tom Neely from the Nittany Lion Inn, who said the benevolence of this industry is incredible, even at this time. Effective last night, we got approval to, and we're setting up the Hospitality Assistance Response of Pennsylvania Relief Fund through the PRLA Educational Foundation for 501c3. It will allow folks throughout the state who have already been sending money to try to help distressed employees to be able to do so in a legal tax advantageous way. And we can get grants to employees that are struggling throughout the state. Our Educational Foundation Board has already agreed to serve as the board for this so that we can move it very quickly and not have to set up a new 501c3. There'll be a grant committee. Our goal will be able to turn around grant requests within 24 hours. People can't wait for money to avoid foreclosures, car repossessions, get medicine and things like that. So again, we have a lot of relief efforts underway that are highlighted on the COVID-19 site, but I did want to bring your attention to that. It is just incredible what the love and outpouring of our industry for those in times of trouble. So thank you for allowing me to say a few words about that. Look for more information about the Hospitality Assistance Response of Pennsylvania program. It'll be coming out shortly. We're working feverishly to get it set up and get money into the hands of people that need it. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Melissa. Thank you.
Thanks, John. So with that, we shall move into state updates. Last week, everybody was in limbo, and unfortunately, I think the limbo didn't end the way that we wanted. We reached out strongly, as did all of you, via grassroots initiatives and making calls to the governor's office and to the legislature requesting that the March 20th due date of sales tax be delayed, just to allow, not that none of you wouldn't pay it. If you weren't going to pay it, don't tell me. But to delay it so you could keep some cash flow. We pushed hard on that. Revenue came back saying that it's a felony and it's their money because they think that because you collected it, you put it in a very special, this is for the state of Pennsylvania bank account, and that it's just sitting there and therefore they're entitled to it. So they have not, they did still require your February tax payments to be made on March 20th. And I am sorry for that. And I think it's a terrible decision, probably as the rest of you do as well. But that was the decision that was made, and similar decisions have been made in terms of Philadelphia relating to their drink tax. We also asked for a delay, and they did not feel inclined to do so. Allegheny County has said that if you cannot make those payments, you will not be penalized for it. So thank you, Allegheny County, for doing what we feel is the right thing in this situation. But the one thing revenue did do for those larger business members in the state is they did eliminate the prepay, that $5,000 that you have to prepay to go towards your next month's sales tax collections. They recognize that you probably won't even have that much in sales tax over the next month. So that March prepay, the April prepay that you had to do on March, and the May prepay you have to do in April have been eliminated. And from there, they will make new decisions on how to move forward in terms of that. For the rest of you, you won't need to remit your sales tax. Unfortunately, I know all of you are not collecting a lot of sales tax right now. And as I said, I think this federal initiative will help get a lot of you kind of over the hump. But we still have a long ways to go, as we know, in terms of getting through all of this. In addition, the federal government did delay. It initially was a delay of payment. Now it is a delay of submission of taxes until July 15th. The state has done the same thing, done a delay to July 15th. We have 2,500 municipalities in the state of Pennsylvania, and I would love to say that PRLA has the bandwidth to monitor all of them and let you know who's delaying, but that would make the daily update from us pretty obscene. So I urge you to check your local websites, your municipal websites. I know Philadelphia has delayed, Allegheny County has delayed. I think some counties up in the Lehigh Valley have delayed. So I would be surprised if anybody keeps that April deadline, but Joe Ambrosio, I will get to your question. That's later on in the presentation. Check with your municipalities to determine if they're going to delay. I would expect them to delay. The most important thing on this slide is the zero interest, low interest loans. And that is via the PA Industrial Development Authority. They have the loans. It's only $60 million that the state is offering in loans. And they are going to be via your Certified Economic Development Organization. This was in the daily update yesterday. They are offering $60 million in loans. It's for businesses with 100 employees or less. The loan is up to $100,000, and you have 3 years to pay it off. The first year, you are not required to make any payments, and then there will be a balloon payment in the third year. So this is another funding mechanism I have been told with authority from the department enforcing. These loans will be unveiled today. So applications can start to be made today. So please take a look at the update yesterday, determine who your Certified Economic Development Organization is, and if you're interested in those loans, I urge you to collect the information that we've provided and prepare to submit very quickly, because I would expect that $60 million will be depleted very quickly. Business interruption insurance. If I think all of us were to say the most frustrating, ridiculous process of this entire situation is that when you were all told that you had to stop in-house dining when your occupancy rates went below 10%, and you turned to your insurance companies relating to your business interruption insurance and they said, sorry, you're not covered. We put a virus clause in 10 years ago because of SARS, you know, pat you on the head and good luck to you. We are as infuriated as all of you are as you're working through that. And we are working on that on two fronts. Really, at the end of the day, this federal package might resolve this problem for us as we get the details, if the loans from the SBAs are what we need them to be, especially if the loans are 90% forgiven at the end of the day. We do have legislation. I'm calling it our opening salvo. I'm calling it our opening salvo in terms of drawing attention to this. Senator Vince Hughes and Representative Frank Dermody have filed legislation basically saying that virus protection cannot be used during this crisis. Of course, on its face, do we think it's going to get a lot of traction, you know, without the federal government coming in and providing a backstop? No. But I think it's important that we draw attention to this. I think it's important that all of you draw attention to this. There is a reason you get insurance. There's a reason you made that investment. And literally, I think in the entire industry's greatest time of need, these companies have said, no, thank you. And I think it's important that at the end of the day, we make sure people know that, you know, that the people we needed the most help from weren't there at the end of the day. So we will be working on that. Like I said, I have it here on the state level because legislation has been filed. Similar to New Jersey, we'll also be working on it at the federal level as well. PLCB. All my licensees, I mean, you've probably heard me wax poetic about our good friends at our state monopoly. We have a few updates and we are working on a few items there. In the update, yesterday's daily update, we did let you know the licensing, the LCB is shut down right now, so everybody is working remotely. But licensing is focusing primarily on wine expanded permit applications and transporter for hire applications. The only way, as a reminder, that you can sell wine legally out the door is if you have a wine expanded permit, and that comes at $2,000. So not sure if anybody is feeling, you know, the desire to spend that kind of money, but if you think that you have, you know, people that are interested in buying that wine, those applications will be processed, as will the transporter for hire applications, which will allow you to transport beer, just beer, to households in the Commonwealth. So you could do delivery with up to 192 ounces of beer. Further to that point, as you all know, the LCB stores were shut down last week. And they said that they would be shut down for 2 weeks. I had a call with them yesterday, and because of the shutdown orders, the stay-at-home orders that are occurring, they do not see any of the state stores opening to the general public, probably at least not for another 2 weeks. But what we are working on in terms of getting you products, so for most of you that would just be wine, since you can't sell spirits out the door, the state store union won't let you do that either. You can get it from a Pennsylvania winery. You're still able to buy product from there. And we're also working with the LCB to get delivery. to you for those that have a wine expanded permit. It would either be from their licensee service centers or their warehouse. It would come via UPS. The caveat would be that you have to order in cases. You can't, put together a case. That would be the caveat. On orders of $99 or more, the shipping would be free. These are all preliminary conversations that we're having with the LCB. I made it very clear to them that our licensees will drive to a licensee service center. They'll drive to the warehouse, for God's sake, just to get product at this point. So we are working with them. They're leaning towards delivery, so there's less human interaction. But they said that they should have more information by the end of this week, beginning of next week, to allow for that delivery. So we are working to the best of our ability with a state-owned monopoly that does what they want to get product into your hands. And I think they recognize the need there. So that will be in the daily update as soon as we get more information on that as well. Next slide, Eric. You were doing so good too. There we go. Stay-at-home orders, Joe Ambrosio, thank you for the question. So far, now 8 counties have stay-at-home orders. And I will say this, I think we are in unprecedented times. I think our governor is doing the best that he can. I think that we can all agree, especially the PRLA staff team, especially when he drops you have to close all of your restaurants at midnight at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, or you need to shut down all restaurants at 5 p.m. and he says that at 2, or last night Erie's now has stay at home at 5 o'clock announcement at 8 o'clock. I don't know if we're getting enough of a heads up of some of these decisions, but we are getting that information to all of you as fast as we can, as soon as we receive it, and we will continue to do so. So let me say where we are right now, and then I will make a prediction going forward. Currently, as I said, there are 8 stay-at-home orders. Philadelphia's stay-at-home order is different because it's Philadelphia and they're different than everybody else's. And the only thing that impacts restaurants specifically in Philadelphia is the elimination of window service. And I'll clarify that by saying Philadelphia will no longer let you go and place an order and then wait for your order to be prepared. So this really stemmed from our wonderful cheesesteak shops that people were just lined up down the sidewalk, lots of congregating, no social distancing, while they placed their orders and then waited for it. But this does have broader effects. This impacts your coffee shops that you would go and place your coffee order and wait for it. It impacts your quick service locations, even your sandwich shops. But Philadelphia has really dug in an effort to ensure social distancing. So in Philadelphia, you can still place an order via phone, via app, via the interweb, carrier pigeon. I don't think they care as long as you're placing the order and then picking it up at a separate time. You can enter the restaurant to pick up your orders. There is some confusion there. There's no ban on entering the restaurant. The ban is on entering the restaurant to place an order and waiting for it. So you can do all of that. You can do curbside, you can do delivery. That's Philadelphia's general change. And then the rest of the counties that are under stay-at-home, nothing has changed. There has been no change in terms of, like I said, window ordering or getting an order and paying for the order at the same time. So for the rest of you, nothing has changed on that front. I think that we would be kidding ourselves if we didn't expect this to go statewide, the stay-at-home order. And I think we all recognize the fact that we're kind of operating within a stay-at-home order as it is at this exact moment. That essential and non-essential business list, which they even clarified to the point of saying that your private home is considered essential, so no one needs to become homeless to meet this requirement. That's how in the weeds they've gotten. But that list is the guiding document for the stay-at-home order. So if a business is listed there with a yes next to it, saying they are essential, those employees can travel to their work. If it's a no, you're considered non-essential. And there is also, huge push that if you can work remotely, if you can work from home and be off the streets, to please do so. And that is just generally to try and stop the spread of the disease overall. But we do expect a stay-at-home to go across the state, especially as the numbers continue to increase every single day. There was one other thing I was going to say about stay-at-home orders, but I think now I forget it. So maybe it'll come back to me later. I already kind of talked about tax delays. Like I said, check with your municipalities regarding your property taxes, things like that. We do anticipate them to be delayed at the end of the day. So, but definitely check on that and make sure you're set on that front. All right, Eric, next slide. We're reaching the end, and then I'll start going through some questions. General items, and I know this is something that a lot of you are concerned about and worried about. Please talk to your banks relating to any mortgages or any loans that you have from them. I, right before this call, got a message from the Pennsylvania Bankers Association, their GA counterpart to me, who basically said, can you let me know what your members need so we can make sure that we are addressing it and we are partnering with them via the federal government to get them what they need. So if you have not had a conversation regarding any loans or anything that you have with the banks, please do so. I think they're going to work with you. I think they're going to try and see you through this. If they don't, let us know, and we can look into that as well. For those of you, God, I feel for you, who have landlords that are heartless. Philadelphia, Mayor Kenny made, he's showing passion now, which is something. A passionate statement yesterday, just basically, if you're a landlord, don't be a scumbag and give everybody a break. So please, if you're having issues with that, there's only so much we can do within our organization, but we can also look at resources to help you through it. A lot of your municipalities do have assistance in terms of paying rents and things like that, especially as it relates to your employees. For businesses, let us know and we'll work through it. Utilities, things like that, all of them, if you are in a financial crisis, which who isn't at this point in time, they are delaying things as well. So definitely talk to your vendors, your suppliers, your utility companies to do what you need to do to delay payment until we start seeing some of these loans and assistance programs trickle down from the federal government. Hotels, and this was in an update earlier this week. We have been, and Heidi Howard in our office has just been taking on literally, I think, every bit of outreach possible right now. We have been approached by the federal government and the state regarding hotels, and they are looking for hotels for a few reasons. Quarantine centers, I think our Secretary of Health, Dr. Levine, every single day has, name dropped hotels as potential quarantine centers or sub-hospital sites for people infected with COVID. They're also looking for hotels that will be willing to be used to house the homeless, and especially homeless that have been diagnosed with COVID-19, and generally just to get them off the streets. We do have, as I said, there is a sign-up sheet. If any of our hotels on this call are approached for this, we've also had a few embassies that have reached out where they have citizens from their countries stuck in Pennsylvania that need housing. So we're outreaching to hotels in those areas as we receive those. But if you are a hotel and you're interested in participating as a quarantine center, as a housing site, there is a lease agreement that we have. We haven't put it out publicly yet because it's all kinds of legal mumbo jumbo. But if you are interested or somebody approaches you, please let us know. We'll get you that document. There are protections in there that protects, that ensures that you will be paid. These are not things that you're asking to be given for free. It would be at a significantly reduced rate. A lot of these programs will provide their own staff for it. They literally just need your building to house these people. But we have, like I said, agreements that we will send you if you're approached for you to use, and if that does happen. If we go to the next slide, I think we have a listing of all the PRLA team and what they're working on. This kind of shows you, who to outreach to if you need anything. John and I are continue to be available, 24/7. Well, John's 24/7. If I don't sleep, you don't want to talk to me. But we are available all the time. You can see here, government affairs between Mary and I, media relations and industry, Philadelphia, emergency relief efforts. Heidi, if you have food you want to donate, if you have you know, if you're a hotel and you want to donate anything like that, anything relating to relief efforts, and as John said, this fund, Heidi is going to, at this point in time, probably be your point person in that. And then if you want to go to the next slide, Eric. And then you can see here, our entire membership team, and we've mentioned this before, is here to help. And those of you on the call, and I'll reiterate it again, I know John has mentioned it a few times, this is not a membership requirement that we're doing here. We're all in this together. We're all on the same team. So if you know of anyone in the industry that would like to be receiving our daily updates, this is not a membership push at all. This is literally just us trying to get you the information that you need. There's so much out there, and we're really trying to drill down and get you what you need within the restaurant and hospitality and tourism industry. So anything you need really locally, you can see our industry relations and services there. Webinars, Hope has been awesome in terms of webinars. If you heard Hope at the beginning of the call, we like to joke that Hope has a webinar voice and it's very soothing. So she's going to have to do webinars forever because she calms us down. And then Vicki, for those of you that know Vicki, previously was John's executive assistant. Now she's just jack of all trades. Any other general questions, you can reach out to Vicki and she will get them to the staff that would be handling that specific topic. And so with that, I got it. I was trying to keep it to 30 minutes, but I tried. So let me see where we have in terms of questions. Joe, yes, I believe the governor will shut down more counties. Unemployment being reimbursed at 20%, why would an employee come back if able if they were receiving 100% of their pay? They're only eligible for unemployment up to 4 months. So, I mean, I would like to think that they wouldn't, especially our tipped employees would probably make more at the end of the day if they come back. But the goal at the end of the day is if this goes on for another 2 weeks, God forbid another 4 weeks, that your employees are getting every bit of benefit that they can. As part of this plan, as I have not mentioned, there will be checks sent out to anybody in the country to try and give them some immediate cash. Those checks, I think, are $500 just to kind of get some cash in people's hands. But the goal right now at the federal level is just to get people the resources they need right now to get through this, because we don't know how long it's going to go. I have, and this was covered before, but I'll cover it again, who is the grant assistance and the responses through. That is through your Certified Economic Development Organization. And if you go onto the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development site, they list every organization. So definitely go on there. Like I said, you cannot apply for these grants yet. They're not available yet, and they're actually loans. But they will be available today. And then also, and I didn't mention this 100% before because not everyone's doing it, Philadelphia has a small grant program that they're offering, some small loan programs. So definitely look into your local government and see if they have anything available to you as well. Let's see, I covered converting hotels. If we have a property who isn't a PRLA member but asking questions, who should they go to first? Definitely send their information to Christine. She'll get them inserted into our daily emails, but they can, any questions they have, they can reach out to anyone on the PRLA staff at this point, and we'll get them to the right person. If they're not sure who to go to, as I said, Vicki can take the question and then get it out to the right person. And then once again, I'll reiterate this once again for the Industrial Development Authority. Those are for businesses with 100 employees or less, up to $100,000 loan. It has to be paid off in 3 years. There is no required payment in the first year, but that will be available. Like I said, there's only $60 million there, but it is an option for those of you that are interested. Yes, the webinar will be available afterwards. And then I have, do you know if restaurants are going to be able to open on March 31st? I would be lying if I told you that they would be. So, and I think we're all in this together. I think we have a ways to go. I know we have the president saying some things and then states are saying others. I would not anticipate the 2-year, closure of dine-in services, or the 2-week closure of God, I hope it's not years, 2-week closure of dine-in services to end after 2 weeks. I think that we're looking longer than that. And that is why this federal assistance, I think, is going to be so important to all of you, because this is not a short-term thing, at least not at this point in time. And also, as a friendly reminder from our good friend Joe, if you are not receiving the daily updates, check your spam folders and make sure it's not there. And if it is not there, send us an email. We'll make sure that email gets addressed or gets added to the list. I hope whoever wanted someone to mute their phone, they did. Yes, if you are paying vacation pay to your management, that does interfere for unemployment. So if they're being, it basically interferes with their reimbursement. And we had a webinar a few days ago that really dug into the unemployment issue. But if you are continuing to pay them, that is helpful because it kind of gets them over the week, but they would not be able to apply on that day one if they're still getting paid. For the PLC potential delivery option, will that only be listed items or will SLO items be available? We are trying to get both. I think we will get both, but to be honest, I think the bigger issue is if your SLO suppliers are working and can get the product to the warehouse or to the delivery site, that the LCB would be, saying that they have to. So that would be a conversation that I would urge you all to have with your SOs. At minimum, it will be listed items, but I have pushed hard on the SOs as well because I know that is really what you guys are selling out the door. Healthcare premiums, that actually is also in this federal package. So there should be some supplemental information relating to healthcare premiums as part of this package, which we'll get out later today to kind of help you guys continue to pay them for your employees that you want to keep on your healthcare plan. Undocumented employees, it sucks, honestly. As you all know, undocumented employees are not entitled to unemployment compensation under state law. I know Philadelphia is looking at it. I don't think Philadelphia has developed any answers yet. I think it's going to end up having to be a local thing. And quite honestly, for a lot of you, I don't know how friendly your local governments are to the people that have been working their butts off in your kitchens and in your restaurants for years now. That really is a local issue, but it's absolutely something we are going to continue to push on and try and get answers on. And I wish I had a better answer today, but I don't. But it's definitely something that we're going to continue to talk about. We will. I'm not going to review the proposal again because we are going to send out the federal proposal again, just because that took a lot of time, and you can rewatch the beginning of the webinar, and that'll go through all of that. Let's see. So the governor has since extended his order for an additional 2 weeks. This is from Steph. So it does look like the earliest day that you all could reopen would be April 6th. So he did extend the school closures and the essential businesses regulations until April 6th. And then also I did get a question on SBA loans. There is a webinar, I think it's today, relating that will go over exactly what you need to do for the SBA loans. I think the American Hotel and Lodging Association is hosting it, but I think it would be applicable to everybody. And there is a saved webinar that Temple did last week and this week that you can go through as well. I am self-admittedly not a master of the SBA loan process, but definitely please check out those webinars. I know they have the information that you need. I know it is a burdensome process, and we're hoping that this federal regulation, the federal law, will streamline that process for all of you as well. We do anticipate that to be part of the package. Kamara, that is fine. If anyone could interrupt a webinar, you can interrupt one of my webinars. And I'll give it another minute, Hope, and see if there's any other questions. As you all know, you have John's and my phone numbers, you have our emails, you have staff emails. Definitely please, reach out to us for questions. And as Steph just posted, The local funding for small businesses from the state is going on our website in 30 seconds. So try not to make the website crash, but you can start applying for those loans now.
I just saw one other question, Melissa. What if the vacation pay is listed as severance pay? Did you answer that one?
I don't know the answer to that one. That is probably,
Okay.
that would probably be iterated. And it might be in our fact document from that unemployment webinar, because that is definitely an unemployment question to which I am not a lawyer, thank God.
Yeah, we do have that webinar up on our website, and we are currently transcribing the whole webinar into an FAQ document so that it'll be in Word format too. But if you want to check that out, I know we did cover a lot of stuff on that one last Friday. Well, it seems like we might be done with questions. I appreciate everybody getting on the call, and you know, this last slide is really important. Please check out our coronavirus webpage and please submit questions through the submit question feature there. And we are checking that on a daily basis and trying to get back to everybody within the day of the question being asked. And as always, thank you very much for joining us today.
We're going to do this. We're going to do this next week, right, Hope?
Yep. We're going to try and do this every Wednesday. Yeah, at 9:30. So. Or we'll announce the time depending on what's going on that day, but definitely on Wednesday. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a nice day, and we will get this up on our website this afternoon.